Welcome to Grief
Silver Linings,
and Other Shit with Courtney.
and Lynn.
We're going to take a different kind of look at grief and trauma and ways to cope.
Ding, ding, ding.
We hope you enjoy.
Thank you.
So we're recording this podcast in hopes to encourage everyone to take a different look at the world. There's a lot of negativity going on right now, and I feel like so many people are stressed out about it. People need to realize that, like, we're feeding into it. And we're all wondering what we can do, how we can help the world, how we can help our communities. Everybody seems so
Stressed out.
full of anxiety, uncertainty, and I really have been trying to figure out what I can do. How can I contribute to, like, the collective good? I mean, none of us feel like we can affect what's happening in government or in the world. And we really honestly believe that it starts with yourself. Working on yourself, trauma work, clearing up your own energy field so that you're not at the whim of everybody else's energy. If you figure out how to keep your own good, your own energy field, and your own rhythm, frequency, it's easier to identify things that make you feel bad. Don't you think? It's really,
What doesn't resonate with you, you'll understand.
right, if it feels weird, if it feels off to you, you'll know to stay away from it because you're so used to feeling good. You like the way your energy hums along. You like really just feeling better. And there's so many different ways you can feel better. There's so many different avenues to explore. And we really believe in natural, harmonic things. We're not going to rush to an over-the-counter or a prescription or anything like that. Like, it's not a fix, it's a Band-Aid. It's not a permanent fix. It certainly doesn't help grief. It covers it up. It makes you numb. And I think numbness makes things never go away. You have to kind of feel the pain. So we're shooting this today on the 6th-year anniversary of some severe trauma to us. My sister, well, let's just explain. Lynn is my best friend, and we've worked together. We've been friends for probably almost 20 years now. So we work in a hair salon. She does nails and massage. I'm a hairdresser. My sister was a nail tech. 3 of us worked together for like 13, 14 years. And as far as like me and my sister, we were pretty inseparable, complete opposites, but
Complemented each other perfectly.
the same person with being all at the same time as being different. She kind of was our guide. She was definitely in charge of the 3 of us. She was the person who always knew what was going on, at least in my eyes.
More level head.
Right. She always knew what to do, always could figure it out. She never, I think that I realized this the other day. unconditional love. Like, I know you get that from your parents, but like, you aren't exactly honest with who you are about your parents, like to your parents when you're young.
Right.
I don't think she ever judged me. And we were so different. Like, I mean, I showed up drunk to labor and delivery ward while she was in premature labor. It was my birthday. I mean, she was just like, oh God, she's here. Oh, please. But she never judged me. Actually, that night I said to her, I'm sorry, I'm not the stronger sister. And she said, dude, I'm the strong one. It's our deal. I get it. I accept it. Get off of me. Stop crying. I'm in labor. I don't know. I would have judged me long before. Like, she just never did. She always took care of me. She always, like, I mean, I knew when she disapproved, but she didn't yell.
No, she gently guided you
She,
back on the path that you should be on.
she walked quietly and carried a large stick and would tell you about yourself, and you never even saw it coming.
Right. With a smile on her face. You didn't know, you just got told you about yourself.
I just got told that.
In the nicest possible way.
And I know it's really cliche, but everybody, like, when people die young, and we'll get to that part, but everybody's like, oh, they lit up a room, and like, oh. It sounds really cliche, but
She really did.
she fucking did. She, I don't know, always gave everybody the best advice. I mean, I could read you messages, I could go through my phone, I could, you know, like, everybody just thought the world of her. I don't know too many people that didn't like her. I don't know if I know any. I wouldn't say it to my face now anyway. But it was true. It's definitely true that she was a force to be reckoned with. She was definitely a large presence of energy. She guided people. So many people reached out to me like, oh my God, she just always knew the right words. I have a girlfriend that I wasn't speaking to at the time, and my sister would send her encouraging words of how great she was doing, and she told me like, we weren't talking, but your sister always loved me. Anna.
Oh, yeah,
Shut up. But like she just really did, and we've never fought. We never. I didn't fuck you. Like we all just got along and loved each other, and were happy for each other when things happened, and you know, just we were just living life, just a bunch of normal girls in a hair salon. That's how I felt. Like
Right.
it was just not
We
to
helped
be,
each other.
not to be cliche again, but them good old days. Like we cried over things that didn't matter.
That's true.
And then, I mean, yeah, me and my sister, we were just the two of us raised by a single mom. So, like, we always figured shit out. We always figured out ways to do things and what we needed to do. And we always took care of each other. And when we met Lynn, we just took care of her too. She just fit in with us, and
I was adopted in as the third sister.
yeah, I mean, she didn't cause any waves. She fit in perfectly. You're a little bit like both of us. Like, you're kind of a blend of both of us.
That's true.
So, then, like, I don't know, when was the last time you saw my sister?
It was Ethan's birthday party. It was that week. It was Thursday, I think it was.
Thursday.
Because the weekend I had a convention to go to.
Yeah. So she had both the kids with her.
Yeah.
So, on Sunday, her and I went grocery shopping. I don't know, we talked we would jokingly say, all right, I'll talk to you in 15 minutes. So, then on Monday, April 13th, 2015, I should say I was 19 weeks pregnant.
Yeah.
My second kid, girl kid, and, I don't know, you want to like go through the story, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so, in the morning I woke up, and I feel like I didn't pay a phone bill or something, and then I had to track down my Square deposit and like do my banking and stuff in the morning, so I didn't like jump up and like talk to her like normal. So then I tried to call her, you know, a couple of times, because we were having an oil party.
Yeah.
So I was trying to see if I should get cheese and crackers and like what I should
What
do.
the plan was going.
Right. So we were having like an essential oils like party, and it was at my dad's club, like his old club. And sounds like a hard, but so shout out to the Odd Fellows of East Point. And I tried to call her all day. I mean, I'm sure I talked to you during the day a couple of times.
Yeah, you called me and asked if I could get a hold of her, and because I usually talk to her in the morning, every morning, and I didn't hear from her either. So
Right.
you called, and we were both like, no, maybe Celeste like took her phone and put it in one of her purses or something.
Maybe it's in the toilet.
Right.
Maybe she didn't pay her cell phone bill like I didn't, you know. But I carried on. I went to the grocery store, got crackers and cheese and stuff, and I was with my son all day, 'cause obviously my husband's at work. And then he gets home, and I said to my sister, I said, I haven't talked to my sister all day. And he's like, well, that's weird. Because usually he's like, get off the phone with your sister, you're on the phone with your sister all the time. We worked together, we kidded together, like we shared each other's kids when one would have to go to work, and he would go into business for a long time, so. But I went to the club and was prepping, I was there early, all the while like trying to call her. And a couple of people started to show up. 3 lovely ladies were with me. And
I was on my way.
you were on your way. You had
I
a
was-
massage.
Yep, I had to work.
And my dad was in the building because he had a meeting in the other room. So I told him, like, I haven't talked to Christy all day. He's like, well, I don't like that. And so he was trying to call her. And so I was talking to the ladies, Michelle, Lori, and Emily. And our oil lady, our oil friend. And then 2 clients, a nail and a hair client. And they said something that still sticks out to me to this day. I was telling them, like, I haven't talked to her all day, and they were in the general consensus that she's not their sister. She's not our sister. We don't know how worried you should be. And I was like, well, damn, okay, then I'm leaving.
Right.
So I don't know. So I left, and I snuck out because I didn't think that if her and her husband were fighting, that she would want Dad there. I didn't think she would. And so, like, to back up a little bit, like, her and her husband had been together forever. Her and her husband have been, like, together forever, since high school. Like, I don't know, he babysat my kid the week before. I never heard a story of him hitting her. I heard lots of stories of him not wanting to spank the children. Like, this is not on my radar at all. Like, to be
Not
completely
even the
honest.
slightest bit.
Yeah, I mean, there was mental health issues there, but never in a violent way, always in a self-depressed, like,
And his own
inward,
sorrows.
inward. Never. My husband would have gladly shot him. But if we ever thought that was a thing. she was maybe sometimes unhappy in her marriage, like due to his laziness, which was due to depression, which they struggled over. I mean, mental health is the reason we're making this video,
Right.
because your unhealthy energy and you're sucking up negativity from other people leads to an unhealthy mental state. Setting that all aside. So, my dogs are in the house. There's no. Sorry. So, I got there. I called my husband to tell him that I hadn't talked to him and I was going over there.
You called me too. I was on my way there.
Yeah. So, the house looked like nothing had happened all day. Like it looked shut up, like blinds, yeah, curtains, cars are there that are supposed to be, like, doesn't look like anything's happened. And I know that my sister was gone at that point now in retrospect. And I know that I was alone with my son, pregnant, which would have really worried her. And I know that, like, she was physically sitting on me. Like, I can't tell you how I know that, but, like, it's for sure a thing, because, like, in my head I knew she was dead. Like, I thought all four of them were dead. I assumed like, in my head I'm like, there was a gas leak. Like, something,
Right.
like carbon monoxide poisoning. Like, my head never went to him at all. So I, like, walk around the house, like, I only knocked on the side door, which is the door they used. And my cousin lived across the street. And, I went over there and asked him to come help me. And I feel like at some point he went back and put his kids in the basement. So, like,
So I didn't see anything.
turn the TV on downstairs, because I couldn't, at that point I acted alarmed to the point where the children knew. Unfortunately, we couldn't protect all the kids. But, so, me and my cousin go over there, and he has a lot of regret about not breaking in. Clearly we didn't do that because I was pregnant, and
You didn't see that.
we knocked on all the doors. We would have killed him. We knocked on all the doors. We'll come back to that issue later. And I asked the neighbor if they had seen anything, and they were both just getting home, and they're like, no. And they offered me, like, a bottle of water, and we're like, you gotta breathe, like. And I was like, no, I'm calling the police. And they wanted me to call his parents because they owned the house, and we're like,
Right.
and I'm like, I don't care what you say right now. So I called the police and, said that I wanted a well check. As soon as I hang up from them, my father calls me, and he says, did you find her? And I said, no. I said, I just called the police. And he said, I'm on my way. So he hung up on me. So then I called my husband to tell him, because he's at home with my son 4 blocks away. So that's why when I say my husband would have saved her, like, we would have taken them, it was 4 blocks. Short city blocks. So he's, like, let me keep me posted. So then, my car's in the driveway, the police all kind of pull up, and, well, it was only like 1 car, 2 cops for sure. And they're kind of asking me, like, why, what's going on, like, and I was just like, I haven't, explained, I haven't talked to my sister all day, like, this is not normal, like, this is just not normal. And he said to me, I'll never forget it, have you had a fight recently with your sister to where she wouldn't call you back? And I said, in middle school over an outfit. I said, no. So he accepted that. And they walked up to the porch,
The front door where.
the front door, which I didn't knock on. And he answered the was the only thing that surprised me. Like, in my head, like, I had all these thoughts, like, you could have knocked me over with a,
Right.
at that moment. And my dad's still not there. And they open the door, and I'm standing, like, on the grass between the sidewalk and the curb. And he didn't look like the guy I knew. Like, he looked fucking bewildered. Like, he didn't know what was going on. And, they were like, what's going on? What's going on? Like, it wasn't moving quick enough for me. And I stepped to the side where he could, like, get a clear shot of me. And I said, where the fuck is my sister? And he said, oh, I don't know, inside sleeping. And, like, he wasn't that out of it. He knew who I was talking about. He knew who the fuck I was. Like, he didn't say, what? Like, it wasn't confusion. And I screamed, bullshit, it's 6:30, where's them fucking babies? And at that point, the cops kind of, like, stepped where they kind of closed the door so that, like, I couldn't see him anymore. And they asked if they could come in, and he let them in. And, like, from that point, like, my dad pulls up. And then the ambulance pulls up a half a block away and, like, block the street, and they tape off the street. Like, they didn't even come out and tell us before they started taping off the street. And now neighbors are gathering, and, like, people are coming home. It's like I said, 6:30. Like,
That's when you called me.
that's when I called you. Well, I called Tony first. And I called Tony, and I was laying in the grass. And my dad yanked the phone out of my hand and said, come get your wife and take care of her. And he hung up on Tony. So Tony dropped Coley off to the neighbor, and, like, my mother-in-law just handled him from there, and Tony just, kind of came straight to me. So then we all, like, moved to Josh's backyard,
Right.
because, like, across the street to my cousin's backyard, because we didn't want to be stared at by the fucking neighbors. My father called my mother. It wasn't great. Did I tell you in the car? Did I make you pull over?
You made me pull over. I was right down the street. I wasn't that far from Chris's house.
Yeah.
I was in between, leaving, cause I stopped at the club just to make sure they were all set, and I was gonna go straight to Christy's house. And I was like almost to 9 Mile, and you're like, do not come here. And I'm like, what? So that's when I stopped and, like, kind of pulled over. And you're like, do not come here. They're getting the tape out. And I'm like, what do you mean the tape? And you're like, you were hysterical at that point. And you're like, they're getting the tape out. And I was like, oh God. And that's when I knew. And I lost it.
How do you tell somebody that? Like, I hate telling strangers, because strangers look at you like you have 3 fucking minutes.
I know.
They look at you like you just sprouted another arm. Like, they just want to hide.
Right.
But, like, how do you tell somebody properly? Like, my dad blurted it out to my mom, but how? There's no other way.
Yeah, there's no easy way of saying it.
God bless Emily, because she came and took care of my mother. She called me and said, where are you? Where are you? And she was going to stay there. Go take care of yourself. I'm going to take care of her. Okay. I mean, there's just not a good way to inflict that trauma on somebody.
Not at all.
I mean, I feel like so many people were traumatized, like, hearing it on the news. And, like,
Oh God, yeah.
we have such a large community of clients, friends. It just, there was almost 800 people at the funeral. It just,
I know.
you don't know how to say it to people. You don't know. You feel like saying sorry for ruining your day about this. I'm telling you. Also, side note, my dad kept trying to get me up out of the grass and put me in a hard plastic chair.
No.
God bless my husband. He showed up and said, "Leave her there. She's been waiting for the grass. It's April. She loves the earth." Yeah. And that was a blur right there. Like, the next week was kind of a blur. There were people in and out of my house. My mother couldn't go home because there was camera crews on her corner. Luckily, I lived in a protected situation where, like, on a court where we could kind of control, and my neighbors wouldn't have put up with any of it, of those people camping out. So, yeah, my sister's husband was brought out by the police. He killed his kids. He snapped. Something dark took over him. I mean, I don't want to say a whole lot because his family's in our community as well. Many people who love us love them. You know, his sister and, like, you know, family members. It's not, something was wrong with him. Something that he would not let go of. And part of my big healing process was getting to speak.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize how big that was for me. Because I didn't participate in anything. I was first on the scene. I was the person who called the cops. So, like, I was going to have to be that person in court, like, who testified to all of that. Like, why were you looking for your sister? What were you doing? Like, so I didn't want to participate with any of that while I was still pregnant. I needed to keep my head down and stay healthy and try and not be worked up all the fucking time and not have a premature kid and take care of my son that was in my home. Like, it's not a joke. Like, when you have kids, it gives you a reason to put your feet on the ground. Like, you have to. People say, how do you do it? I didn't see I had a choice. I mean, obviously I could have whatever, but being pregnant, I really didn't have a choice. There was no, like, drinking. There was no, like, crutch to hold on to.
Right.
Besides, I needed to just maintain.
Yeah.
Just maintain. That was all I could do. And so I was really happy to not deal with any of that. But my brain kept working that whole time. And so by the time that it, like, came time for me to have to, like, show my face in a courtroom, I felt like giving him the big fuck you. I felt like it wasn't just about him. Like, I needed that judge to know who we were. I needed everybody involved in that to know what this was.
Right.
And, like, but even the funeral helped me. Planning the funeral, my parents, my mother was in no condition. My father was doing, like, the police end of it and, like, kind of being the point person with them.
Right.
And they just allowed me to plan the funeral, which I had to kick and fight a little bit. My mother wanted some things that I wasn't okay with, and that it wasn't, not that I wasn't okay with it, it wasn't my sister. I felt like I knew her the best, and that, like, it was really cathartic to plan all of that, and, like, get to make sure that the person giving the eulogy is not weird.
Right.
Licking cups. Sorry. So, I mean, I've been to some weird funerals. I've seen some Hell and Damnation, and, like, I didn't want it to be about, like, anybody burning in hell. Like, I wanted it to be about, like, life and them and who she was.
More spiritual, not so much religious.
Yes. So that was really cathartic. But then, like, getting to speak in court, my victim's impact statement, like, really meant a lot to me. Because I got to, like, and I think that's part of what this podcast is, like, letting it out, get it out. Like, I don't need it sitting on my brain anymore. Not that I ever want to forget them, but I need to move past, like, the trauma portion of it and live a life that, like, makes her proud. And that's what I said in court. I refuse to let him steal my life. I refuse for him to give my kids an unhappy mother. I refuse to, like, let my marriage fail because of, like, my behavior after this event. And it's just, you think about, okay, well, where do I go from here? How do I start this? Like, but there's really no starting point. Grief is so different for everybody. I've been through a little bit of death in my life. You know, I'd lost my grandmother and, you know, stepdad and some stuff. So, like, I understood how grief could go bad. I've seen that. And I just didn't want to be that person. And so since today's the anniversary, like, this morning I was going through Facebook memories, right? Which, these usually couple days are pretty heavy in my timeline. So, year 2, I don't think I got every year, because, like, maybe year 1, whatever, we were getting tattoos that day.
Yeah.
We got tattoos that day. Year 2, like, I was like, oh my god, last year I hid in a basement getting a tattoo, but, like, this year I feel strong. And, like, there's a couple strong years. Last year was a mess.
Yeah.
And I think that was because of Corona, like,
Right.
the anxiety of the unknown, of the kids not going to school, and, like, you know, I feel like that added mental toll added on to my April, which usually
Yeah.
I hate.
Right.
Let me just say that I hate April because her husband's birthday, my birthday, my nephew's birthday, and my niece's birthday were all in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They died in April. Their funeral was on my birthday day. I mean, it's just, I mean.
For lack of a better word.
So, like, last year during Corona, when I have, like, this drive-by parade because we can't see anybody, I literally am thinking, you've had worse birthdays. You've had worse birthdays. Like, you've sat in your sister's
But still.
Like, yeah. But so I, like, dread it, but then, like, Corona, like, compounded that. It, like, more turds on the pile of shit.
Right.
But then I made a really smart decision. And I thought, I think I need therapy. Like, maybe I should go to therapy. I'm having a lot of anxiety. Maybe I should do that. Because nobody's in therapy at this point. So 5 years out, nobody's in therapy.
Not a one.
Not a one. My niece, my oldest niece, did an intensive week-long therapy. She was like a teenager.
I don't think I knew
Yeah.
that.
She stayed out of school and went to it instead of after school.
Aw.
And she sunk herself in, but she was having like some peer pressure issues and like, you know, teenager angst stuff that compounded her already sad feelings. Her grandma had died a couple years before
Yeah.
my sister. So she was the only one.
Wow.
Isn't that brave?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Keely. So, yeah, none of us. And we were all fine.
Well, we thought we were.
No, we were fine.
Yeah.
We weren't good. We weren't great. We were fine.
That's true.
So somebody told me that I built a boat for everybody. Like, another friend of mine, like, you built a boat, and like, because you're surviving and paddling, everybody else is. And my mom goes, am I in the boat? And I said, well, you got one leg in, you're holding on to the side, but you're not in the water. She's like, okay, good, I'm not drowning. Like, we're all okay. Like, we're all okay.
Right.
We're managing.
Right.
We were managing. But then, like I said, Corona, like, I haven't been okay. And so I went on psychologytoday.com and was perusing different things. So on psychologytoday.com, you can look at therapists, you can sort them by your zip code, you can see what services they offer, you can see what insurances they accept, if they have a cash program, like you can just see like a whole little bio on them. And so, picture as well.
Nice.
So, and I say picture as well because we're into energy. So, it's not like I'm like, oh, I don't want a man, or oh, I don't want, I don't know, a German woman. I don't know, but we're not judging. We're, to me it was more like, I like to
Feel it out.
see what jumps out at me and like whose energy is good, right? So I actually think I sent 2 or 3 emails from the website, like to contact them, which would then in turn email me back.
Right.
So I got an email back from her first. Shout out to Tammy. And right at
Yeah.
the beginning when nobody was leaving. And the whole first appointment was obviously her telling me like me telling her a life story. And like a whole bunch of crap's happened since then. My mom had cancer twice, my dad's had like his knee done and like an infection. Like I've had
Non-stop
my
stuff.
my 3 brothers all got new women. Like, you know, my half brothers and my cousin who I consider a brother. Like it was just like our whole family like reconfigured. My divorced parents now spend holidays together, like they're tighter than thieves, like when they hated each other for almost 30 years. Well, no, that's not fair. He didn't hate her. So, you know, you just kind of have to go through all your garbage. And she's like, how are you just walking around? And I'm like, well, she taught me how to be strong, so I'm kind of like following suit and like trying to just do the best I can. And I have a really good support system, let me say that too. Not just my friends, but like clients and just hairdressers came out of the woodwork that we've worked with before, past
Right.
employees, like so many people supported me and continue to do so to this day. Like anytime I'm doing something or I post something, everybody's just like so good to me. Like girls I was friends with that we really didn't talk anymore, all kinds of stuff.
Right.
So, the second appointment she wanted to do EMDR on me. And I was like, okay, whatever that is. And she's like, well, it's like a brain reach, like, okay, whatever, fine. And she kind of had to convince me that I had PTSD. Like, I don't know why she had to convince me. Like, I don't know why I didn't think of it.
I don't think you wanted to be put in.
I just thought that was like extreme war stuff. Like, I don't know,
Right.
like, I thought that's like for people who got like bombs blown up next to them and stuff. Like, I didn't
Well,
really,
it was basically like that for you.
but I also didn't think I was a victim. I had to call my attorney over some jury duty paperwork because I didn't know how to answer some questions. And she was like, "You're a victim, victim family. Like, check that box. You're never getting picked again." And I was like, "I like jury duty." So, right? I mean, like, I just didn't.
You didn't want to be put in the box of victim. You didn't
Right.
want to be a victim, period.
Like but it didn't happen to me. But it did. But
It
like,
did.
didn't. But it did. I'm alive. I'm not a victim,
Right?
right? I don't know. That's just how I see it. Like, and you can choose positive thoughts. Like, I've had. This is not a smooth operation. This is not like a. We have no sad days. We have no like problems in our life. It's like a work in progress, and you never get over it. You never like move on, but you have to carry on. Like you can't live in a grief state. It's like a place you visit. You drive over there, you hang out for a little bit, wallow in your sorrows, cry, get it out because it's really good for you.
Right.
Like
Release
tears,
is a must.
tears is just a sign that your nervous system has been tweaked and is irritated. Like let that shit out. You can't live there.
No.
And like, it's just not healthy. And once I started therapy, like, okay, so I kind of poo-pooed EMDR, right? I was kind of like, I don't know.
It really
Amazing.
was.
I made her go. Like, not just she, because this is not just like, oh, we're sharing a therapist. It's not just, and I told her if she breaks my therapist, I'm gonna be mad. By referring her, too many people don't overload her. We need her for us. But EMDR teaches you how to locate, like you talk about things, right? And you're like, okay, so I feel cheated, which I do. That's something I would say. You feel cheated. But those words only mean what they mean because we all agree they mean them. They don't actually mean anything, right? They don't have any feeling to them. They don't have any weight to them. They can't change your life. So you start talking, you get upset, you start crying, and she's kind of poking her finger at your sore spot a bit,
Oh yeah.
trying to get you to
Just trying to locate those feelings.
target the pain. Now throw the words out because they don't mean anything, and feel it. We shove so much down, and I would tell you I was fine. But right here, there's a lump, and it would kind of go.
Yeah.
I could control it sometimes, but on bad days it was right here, and you just.
Yep.
I kid you not. One appointment, and I don't feel that shit inside my body anymore. It's more of an all-over dull ache when I'm sad.
Right.
It's not this pit. I mean, do you have any other better way to explain that feeling? Like, it's just like, oh, there it is. Oh, that's the painful shit.
Right. I mean, when you feel your pain, it always to me feels like a big ball or a lump, that's trying to come out. Like you said, you keep shoving it down, and you almost choke on it some days, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's when you can barely swallow your sadness. And
Yes.
I also think that, like, some people, if there's trauma on top of trauma, you may not feel a ball. It may just feel bigger. Like, I was already doing energy work. I already wanted to let go. I already wanted to, like, feel better and not feel like I was constantly just struggling
Not just
to keep
making it.
Yeah, I didn't want to just make it. Like, I want to feel great and, like, not have it just, like, lumped inside of me. And it's amazing. So, like, if you're not sure, if, say, you have anxiety, and depression is the past, anxiety is the future. That's all, like, that's all it is. You're uncertain or you're sad about something. So, like, if you have either symptom, if you've had any kind of trauma, EMDR might work for you. Like,
Yeah.
She does brain reflexology as you focus on the pain. You gotta breathe through that pain, you have to let it dissipate, you have to encourage it to leave. If you have been thinking about doing work on yourself, like, I encourage it. The world needs more light workers. Bottom line. And by light workers, I mean somebody that's working on the light within themselves. You don't have to share it. You don't have to talk about it to anybody. But if you personally feel sad, you personally struggle with anything, now's the time. Now's the time to work on it. There are too many people following that negativity, and we need everybody who's sitting on the fence to come on over. Work on yourself. Not materialistic, not focusing on anything. Not focusing on anything that, like,
I wonder why.
right? So we'll wrap this up. We'll wrap it up.
Squirrel.
Squirrel. Ooh, squirrel. Sunshiny. We really want you to join us. We're going to be trying new things. We're going to be trying detox baths. We're already into essential oils. We're already doing, like, some therapy and EMDR. We can continue to make more videos where we talk about that. We could, we've got a bunch of other people trying some stuff, so we can collect information from them and compile it. We can interview other people if you want. If you want to kind of join us on this journey, I think that we're going to make, like, a YouTube page. New stuff. So you can, like, follow us on Facebook for more information, and individually, obviously, because you're probably going to know us if you're watching this right away. And share with us your ideas. Always, always.
Should we say what our children say?
What?
Like, comment. What is it?
Like, comment, and
follow.
no, subscribe, and follow,
Subscribe.
subscribe.
Yeah.
We have no idea. We're like old ladies who just are like, really not old ladies, but like just some normal housewives that like are really trying to raise healthy, mentally and emotionally children. We're more focused on like their emotional health than anything.
Yes.
We want to raise great humans. We know there's a lot of like-minded people out there like us who want to focus and like, oh, you know, like, all right, I can work on myself. We're going to contribute to the collective conscience. We're going to keep spreading positivity. We're going to keep growing all of that
Yeah.
because it's got to take over at some point.
Right.
And it's the only thing we can